Let's just stop for a second and look at the world map. If you were placing bets on which group of people would dominate the world's most prestigious awards, the Nobel Prizes, you'd probably look at the biggest countries, right? You'd look at the United States, China, or the entirety of Europe. It makes sense. More people, more chances for a genius to pop up. But there's a massive glitch in the matrix. We're talking about a group that represents less than 0.2% of the global population. That is a statistical whisper. It's almost nothing. Yet, in 2023 alone, they didn't just participate, they swept the floor, taking home 6 Nobel Prizes. If you look at the last century, this tiny group of fewer than 16 million people has bagged over 212 Nobel Prizes. That means almost 1 in every 4 prizes ever given went to someone from this group. To put that in perspective, in the United States, the literal powerhouse of the modern world, the proportion is 1 Nobel for every 800,000 people. For this specific group, it's 1 for every 76,000. That's not just a little bit better, it's 125 times more likely than the rest of the world. Statistically, this should be impossible. It's an anomaly that defies every rule of math we know. The biggest mistake people make, and honestly, it's a lazy mistake, is thinking this is all about genetics. People love to say, oh, they're just born with higher IQs, because it gives them an excuse not to try. But that's simply not true. If it were just DNA, we wouldn't see these same people arriving in new countries as penniless refugees and building empires within a single generation. It's not about the brain hardware, it's about the mental software. Think about the names that changed the world. Albert Einstein, Niels Bohr, Richard Feynman. They didn't just have big brains. They had a different way of processing reality. This method isn't a secret kept under lock and key. It's actually been documented for over 3,000 years, going all the way back to the Talmud of Babylon. It's a specific framework for thinking, solving problems, and looking at money that the rest of the world just misses. While most people are out here playing checkers, following the same tired rules, this group has been playing 4D chess for 3 millennia. They aren't smarter, they just have a better manual for how life and wealth actually work. I want you to close your eyes and imagine a man arriving on a foreign shore, maybe New York, maybe Rio de Janeiro. He's fleeing the horrors of war. He has $0 in his pocket. He doesn't speak a word of the local language. He has no fancy Ivy League diploma. To any outside observer, this man is at the bottom of the food chain. But he carried something more valuable than a suitcase full of gold. He carried 5 ancient principles of thought. Within a few short years, this man went from struggling to find a meal to living in the most prosperous neighborhoods like Copacabana. His children didn't just find good jobs, they were the ones creating the companies and receiving million-dollar offers. This isn't a one-off fairy tale, it's a recurring theme in history. As we look ahead to 2026, with the economy feeling like a roller coaster and AI changing every rule we thought we knew, these codes are your only real insurance policy. They worked in ancient Babylon. They worked for refugees in the 1940s, and they are the only thing that will keep you ahead of the curve in the years to come. Hey, real quick, if you're finding this mystery as fascinating as I do, and you want to unlock more secrets of how the world's most successful minds actually operate, hit that follow button for Solomon's Treasury. We're diving deep into the vault today. The first code is something you probably do every single day, but here is the kicker, you're likely doing it in total reverse. Most people wake up, look at their bank account and ask, how can I make more money today? It sounds like a good question, right? But the ancient masters of wealth would tell you that's the wrong place to start. They don't start with gain, they start with removal. In the ancient texts, the focus is always on identifying the barriers first. Think of your wealth like a bucket of water. Most people are obsessed with how to pour more water into the bucket. They work more hours, they take on side hustles, they chase the next big crypto coin, but they never notice that their bucket is full of holes. The first code Inverse thinking tells you to stop looking for the water and start plugging the holes. In 2026, the world is going to be screaming at you to add more apps, more subscriptions, more trends. The code says, look at what is currently keeping you poor. If you remove the habits, the people, and the mindsets that leak your energy and money, wealth will naturally flow in to fill that space. Einstein was a master of this, though he had his own way of describing it. Before he would fully commit to a new theory, he would spend months, sometimes years, trying to prove himself wrong. He would look for every possible reason his idea could fail. This is the heart of the first code. In the world of finance and business, we call this a pre-mortem. Most people jump into a new investment for 2026 because they're excited about the upside. They only see the gold at the end of the rainbow. But the practitioner of the inverse code asks, it's 6 months from now, and I've lost everything. Why did it happen? By identifying the causes of failure before they even exist, you create a map of the landmines. You don't win by being the luckiest person in the room. You win by being the person who made the fewest avoidable mistakes. The statistical miracle we talked about in Chapter 1 happens because these people avoid the stupid mistakes that wipe everyone else out. Let's get real about the year 2026. We are looking at an era of massive technological shifts. AI is going to replace jobs, inflation is going to eat away at savings, and the consensus is going to be panicked. When the crowd is in a panic, they act on emotion. They buy high because they're afraid of missing out, and they sell low because they're afraid of losing what's left. The first code teaches you to invert the emotion. When the news is screaming that the sky is falling, that is exactly when the masters of this code are looking for the foundations of the next empire. They detach their self-worth from the market's fluctuations. They look for the friction in the world, what is making people's lives harder right now, and they move toward that friction while everyone else is running away. This code isn't just about money, it's about having a cool head when the world is on fire. I want to hear from you. If you were brutally honest with yourself, what is one habit you have right now? Maybe it's an expense, a time waster, or a limiting belief that you know is keeping you from reaching the next level. Drop it in the comments below. When people hear about giving 10%, their minds immediately go to religion, tithing, or just being a nice person. But the second code is much more scientific than that. In the ancient Hebrew tradition, the word used isn't exactly charity, it's tzedakah, which translates more accurately to justice or rightness. The logic here is profound. The code suggests that 10% of everything that flows into your life doesn't actually belong to you. You are simply the manager, the steward of that wealth. Think of money like blood in a human body. If blood stops moving and pools in one area, that part of the body gets a clot and eventually dies. For the body to stay healthy, the blood must circulate. Wealth is exactly the same. If you hoard every single dollar and try to keep 100% for yourself, you are essentially creating a financial clot. By intentionally circulating that first 10% back into the system, helping others, supporting education, or investing in the community, you are keeping the pipes clean. You are ensuring that the flow stays active. There is a massive psychological shift that happens when you apply this code. Most people live in what we call scarcity brain. They feel like there is never enough, so they hold onto their money with tight, stressed-out fists. This constant state of stress actually lowers your IQ and makes you worse at making long-term decisions. You become desperate, and desperate people make bad investments. The second code forces you into abundance mode. When you give away that 10% first, before you even pay your own rent or buy groceries, you are sending a powerful signal to your subconscious. You are telling yourself, I have so much that I can afford to give some away. This lowers your cortisol levels, clears your mind, and allows you to see high-level opportunities that the scarcity brain is too panicked to notice. It's a literal biological hack for wealth. In the hyper-automated world of 2026, the most valuable thing you will own isn't a piece of software, it's your reputation and your network. The second code is the ultimate tool for building social capital. When you practice strategic circulation, you aren't just giving money away, you are planting seeds in a massive human garden. You are building a web of people who respect you, who feel supported by you, and who want to see you succeed. If a market crash happens or a job disappears, the person who has hoarded 100% of their wealth is alone. But the person who practiced the second code has a community that will pull them back up. This is why certain groups seem invincible during economic depressions. It's not that they have secret bank accounts, it's that they have a social safety net built on 3,000 years of justice. Here's a question for the skeptics. Do you honestly believe that being generous can make you richer, or do you think that's just something people say to make themselves feel better while they lose money? Let's have a real debate in the comments. History hasn't always been kind to the group we're talking about. Over the last 3,000 years, they've dealt with more land seizures, bank freezes, and forced migrations than almost anyone else. This harsh reality created the third code, the portable wealth. They realized that if your wealth is only in a building, someone can take the building. If it's only in a local currency, a government can devalue it. But if your wealth is in your mind, in your skills, your wisdom, and your ability to solve problems, it is 100% portable. You can move to a new country with nothing but your clothes, and within a year, you'll be prosperous again. In 2026, as we deal with digital currencies and AI, your portable wealth is the only thing no algorithm can take from you. It's about being a high-value individual, rather than just having a high-value account. The Talmud actually contains a specific investment strategy that is so effective. Many of the top hedge funds in the world secretly use a version of it today. It's called the 33% rule. The code suggests you should always split your wealth into 3 equal parts. 1/3 should be in land, real estate, or tangible assets that hold intrinsic value. 1/3 should be in business, active income, stocks, or enterprises that produce cash flow. And 1/3 should be in hand, liquid cash, gold, or assets you can access instantly. This is the perfect defense against an unpredictable world. If the stock market crashes, you still have the land. If the real estate market bubbles and pops, your business provides the cash to buy the dip. If everything goes sideways, your liquid third allows you to pivot. Most people today are all in on one thing, their job or a single crypto coin. That's not a strategy, it's a gamble. The third code demands a fortress. Portable wealth isn't just about what you know today, it's about your rate of learning. The third code implies that you are never done with your education. There's a reason why the most successful people in this group are often seen as perpetual students. In 2026, the edge belongs to the person who understands the new tools faster than everyone else. If you spend just 1 hour a day studying the codes of your industry, you are essentially adding compound interest to your brain. Over 5 years, that hour a day makes you an untouchable expert. While the rest of the world is watching mindless entertainment, the practitioner of the third code is sharpening their portable tools, making themselves indispensable to the market. Think about this. If every bank account you have was frozen tomorrow, and you had to start over in a city where nobody knows your name, what is the one skill you have that would make you your first $1,000? Let me know in the comments. In the ancient traditions of learning, you never study alone. You work in pairs in a system called Havruta. But this isn't a study group where everyone nods and agrees. It's a battlefield of ideas. The goal of a Havruta is to try and tear your partner's argument apart. You aren't being mean, you're being rigorous. This is exactly how the Nobel Prize winners think. They don't look for people who agree with them. They look for the smartest person who disagrees with them. In our 2026 world of echo chambers and social media algorithms that only show us what we want to see, this fourth code is like a superpower. If you can sit with a different perspective and really listen, you will see the blind spots that lead everyone else into financial traps. Most people are living a life based on a script they didn't write. Go to college, take out a loan, get a job, buy a house you can't afford, retire when you're too old to enjoy it. The fourth code teaches you to ask why at every stage of that script. Why is this the only way? Why is this asset considered safe? Why am I working for this company? By questioning the consensus, you find the hidden gems. Wealth is almost never found where the crowd is looking. It's found in the gaps that the crowd was too busy or too afraid to question. Einstein didn't discover relativity by following the textbook. He discovered it by questioning if the textbook's definition of time was even real. The fourth code also pushes us towards something called radical simplicity. The world loves to make things sound complicated. Bankers, gurus, and tech bros use big words to make you feel like you need them. But the masters of this code know that if you can't explain your wealth strategy to a 12-year-old, you don't actually understand it. Complexity is where scams hide. Complexity is where high fees hide. When you ask the right questions, you strip away the fluff until you're left with the fundamental truth. Is this adding value? Is the risk managed? Is this sustainable? If the answer to any of those is, I don't know, then the fourth code tells you to walk away, no matter how shiny the opportunity looks. Be honest with me. What is one fact about money or success that you've always been told, but you've started to strongly doubt? I want to see your unpopular opinions in the comments. This final code is the one that truly separates luck from a dynasty. Most people in our modern world think in terms of weeks or months. They want the quick win, the 10x return by next Tuesday, or the paycheck at the end of the month. But the masters of these codes think in terms of generations. When they make a move, they aren't just thinking about how it affects their life, they are thinking about how it will affect their grandchildren's lives. This completely changes your behavior. When you think in decades, you stop making desperate short-term gambles. You start building foundations. You realize that wealth isn't a sprint. It's a relay race where your job is to hand the baton to the next person in better shape than you received it. One of the most powerful traditions in this ancient culture is something called an ethical will. Most people leave a regular will, a list of who gets which car and how much money. But an ethical will is a document that passes down values, lessons, and the codes themselves. They treat their family like a high-level organization. They have meetings, they discuss financial literacy with their kids at the dinner table, and they ensure that the software, the codes, is passed down along with the hardware, the money. In 2026, the best thing you can build isn't just a bank account. It's a family culture that knows how to handle, protect, and grow that account. Money without the codes is usually gone in 2 generations. Money with the codes becomes a legacy. We've traveled through 3,000 years of wisdom today. We've looked at the statistical miracles of the Nobel laureates, the power of inverting your problems, the secret of circulation, the safety of portable wealth, the strength of the question, and the vision of the long game. 2026 is going to be a year of massive transition. Some people will lose everything, while others will build the next great fortunes. The difference isn't going to be luck. The difference will be who followed the codes. Start small. Pick one code to apply this week. Maybe it's plugging a hole in your budget. Maybe it's setting aside that first 10%. Maybe it's learning a new, portable skill. The Treasury of Solomon isn't a physical place you find, it's a mindset you build. The door is open. It's time for you to walk through. If this video shifted your perspective even a little bit, do us a huge favor. Like this video so the algorithm knows this is the kind of wisdom the world needs right now. Comment the word legacy if you're committed to thinking longer than just next month. Share this with one person who you want to bring with you on this journey to wealth. And of course, Make sure you're subscribed to Solomon's Treasury for more deep dives into the ancient secrets of the world's most successful minds. Shalom, and I'll see you in the next one.